Round up, the big homie. Yeah. Hey, check this out. It's been people trying to troll me. I'll deal with y'all when I'm done doing what I'm doing, okay? Anyway, last time we left off, I believe I was talking about, yeah, me and Kevin Kev. I had a fight with a dude that ended up putting mitts on me at first, but I caught up to him and got revenge, and he went and got the block. And one of the boys from 40 Block, Myron, pulled a pistol on me, and I got up out of there. I'm gonna pick it up from there. Well, after Myron pulled a gun on me, for some reason, it seemed like every time I got out of either Elko or Tennessee, it was something bad happening to me. But anyway, so after he pulled a gun on me, of course I'm heated. I'm in my feelings. I'm seeking revenge. I'm fresh out. I'm on juvenile parole. I don't even care. You know what I mean? So Bread, he up over there in Carry Arms. You know what I'm saying? We used to hang out with Hard Tackle, me and Bread. You know what I'm saying? So I go to Carry Arms, and I tell Bread what happened. So me and Bread, we go get with Jody Mack, get Billy Fletcher car. We go up over there in that photo Brome, the Burgundy. We go up over there to the block to address the situation right there in front of that pink house, Keith. You know what I mean? But anyway, we chopping it up and shit, and it ain't, Bob, basically like, man, you know what I'm saying, that was between him and Sheep. Myron went out there. That's the one I had the problem with, the one that pulled the pistol on me. I want him. And he drove a white, like, I think it was a Monte Carlo. It was just like my OG homeboy got Porter. They was the only two with like white Monte Carlos on Chrome McLean's. Bob had like a white one, white MC, but it had a brown top on it. The 40 blocks didn't have a lot of cars at this time, but the two most known cars was that white Monte Carlos that Myron had, and the white Monte Carlo that Bob had with the brown top. Those were the two most known cars over there from the block. So anyway, I'm looking for Myron. So my feelings involved. So, Bread kind of like smoothed the situation out. And he said, when he catch up with Myron, we'll pick the situation up from right there. But basically, it wasn't no beef. Yeah, that's what they thought. It was beef with me. So one day, me and my homeboy LA, Nucci, right? Hey, if I don't know what y'all saying on here, I don't address that right there. Uh, I don't read that type of stuff or even try to. So whatever you saying, good or bad, you know, uh, I'm just here to tell my story, homie. You feel me? So if it's supporting me, much love. If it ain't, much love. But anyway, um, me and LA, we get together one day, man, and like I said, that's when the sticks was on the block. Everybody had the sticks. It started with the homie Rusty, and then everybody started having the water. You know what I mean? So on this day, we go get a stick from the boy Psycho Terrell from 40 Block, boy with the scar on his face. He stayed on Belzar, I think. So we go over there, we get a stick from him. We going to G's, we smoke it. We don't like it. It don't do nothing. It didn't do nothing. So we go back up over there. Now, mind you, I'm already kind of like not really feeling these cats from what Myron did. So when we go back up over there, we get into it with this dude. We was like, hey man, that stick was bunk. He was like, y'all the only ones that said that. I'm like, hey, check this out, homie. That stick was bunk. How the hell we over here and when we just talking and communicating with you, if the stick wasn't bunk, if it was live, we'd be stuck. So we get into it with the dude, right? I ain't even playing with him no more. You know what I mean? I go get my thing. I tell LA, man, don't even trip. We go act like we go buy another one from him. We go get his ass, all right? So I go get my thing. And me and LA, we go back up over there. LA, he not known for carrying no gat, you know what I'm saying? So he can walk up on anybody. Because LA was doing his thing. LA know it, people know LA. Nucci wasn't no type of dude that you had to really worry about. Now Trip Mac, that was a whole nother story. But Nucci, he was cool. So I go get my thing. We go back on the block, right? So I tell LA to go tell a nigga that we want to buy two more sticks. We ain't tripping, right? So he go holler at the boy. He get the boy. All I need him to do is get him out his yard, right? So when they talking and shit, LA was like, hey man, look man, we go buy 2 more from you, man. I hope it ain't woo woo woo. So when he bring him out the yard, I draw down on him. You know what I mean? Get him for the sticks and his money. He get to holler, hey, they just robbed me. They just robbed me. Now, Psycho, you know, he know who he is, and he know I'm not lying. See, one thing about me, I'm validated, homie. This true life history. This ain't no fairy tale. Some people wish they had a story to tell and get up here and tell you. They don't. They jealous, and they hate you for it. But that's them. Anyway, so check this out. We get the boy. He hollered, they just robbed me. They just robbed me. Get the AK. Get the AK. Hollering all that old shit, right? So we running up the street. We get him. Now it's basically on. We just done robbed one of the block dudes. You know what I'm saying? So now we really into it. But I don't care. The boy Myron pulled a pistol on me. I just robbed one of their homeboys. I feel we balanced it out, right? Nah, that was just the beginning of it. So one day I'm coming home. I don't know if it was from carry arms or from whatever, but I know I was putting my key in the door, and I hear by my head like, what the fuck? Like what the? And I had a neighbor that stayed 2 doors down. Her name was Londa K. She stayed there with her son Pig. Her brother Clyde was there sometimes, but she stayed on the 2 doors down from me. My next door neighbor was Tanya and Gail, and then it was them, right? So Londa K was coming up, and she was talking to me. And when Londa K was walking up, one of the bullets hit the pole. Bing! And she was like, somebody shooting? And I was like, I don't know. So I ran away from the door. And when I ran away from the door, I was able to look straight. And when I looked straight, it was like 3-4 dudes. They had rifles or something, right? And they was running. That's I knew who it was. It was the block, right? I said, oh, they tried to get me when I came at home. Oh, okay, that's how we get down? No problem. No problem. So I'm thinking I'm going to get them back, right? So me and Bray get together. I tell him what happened. I'm like, no, I ain't trying to hear nothing. I'm finna get these cats. He like, check this out, sheepdog. We ain't finna be going to war with the block, them, the homies. You know, whatever going on with you and them, y'all need to chill out, you know what I'm saying? Because they the homies, you know what I'm saying? And we ain't gonna be shooting at each other. Now, if we got to go over there and fight them, we can go over there and fight the whole hood. I'm thinking something else, though, man. I'm like, man, mama, I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? They just done blew on me when I try to put my key in the door, right? So check this out. One day, me and my homie Bam Bam, we together, and we was leaving Jamie house. Jamie stayed right across the street from Bug on Comstock, and we was leaving her house, and he stayed with this girl named Chris that lived in the little Carry Arms. So we walking across the street going toward the little Carry Arms, right? And the same thing. Right? Well, what the fuck is that? But we knew it was like bullets because you could hear when it go, you could hear it go, like the bullets making the sounds, right? So I'm like, man, they busting. So I run across the street, we getting low. Then you can hear him really trying to get us, right? So bam, he see somebody on top of the house across the street. What Buzzo stayed? He said, man, somebody was on the house. So I said, hell no. So I'm heated, but I'm not finna go back across that street because they playing dirty. I said, hell no. And then to add insult to injury, these cats turned off all the lights on Comstock. So now I'm stuck in a little Carry Arms because I'm not finna go back outside. They cut off all the lights on Comstock, had it pitch black. So ain't no way in hell I'm finna leave because it was already pitch black in the alley. And I'm gonna tell you something about that when I'm through with this story. All right? So I'm stuck in the alley. I ain't tripping. I'm over Chris' house. You know what I'm saying? We chill up over there. You know what I mean? So the next day, I go home. I ain't gonna even lie, they had me up over there all night. It was too dark out there. When they used to turn the lights off on Comstock, you couldn't see nothing. And not just on Comstock, but in like the first part of the Gerson, it was dark over there. You couldn't see nothing. Everybody remember this. You couldn't see nothing down. You couldn't see nothing down them streets, and that's where they had the advantage, cause you didn't know what it was. So I didn't go back outside. The next morning, I'm heated, cause I had to stay the night over this girl house. So I'm heated. I go home. I don't want to talk to nobody, right? So I waited about 12 noon. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm mad. I get my little cousin bike, and they remember this. I rolled up Laurie, and I rolled all the way down the street, and I was zigzagging in the middle of the street. And I found, and you know I hate to say it, they was in front of Bebe, Dodo and them mama house. It was Buzzo, Lou Bone, Ice. I recognized Fly, and a few more. They was out there, and they was talking to Art, Boone, them oldest brother. And I zigzagged up there over there on a bike. And by the time they realized who it was, I was up on them. And they remember this. I see these cats alive. See, what I'm saying to you can be validated. These cats alive. I rolled right up on them with that, and I let that 5.7 go. I got right at them close. Bloom, 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 bloom. So that was my get back. So now we in an all-out war. We in an all-out war now. You know what I'm saying? I done just shot up Laurie. You know what I'm saying? So the next time, me, Pimpin', Big Hub, Freak Dog, Peter Mac, all us, we was in front of the boys club. Now, it's starting to get around the Gerson, you know, sheep tripping with the block. I even went so far as to start whacking out 40 block on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Now, see, 40 block was unique. See, when 40 block came out, and they really originated on Laurie Street, you know, everybody was screaming B187 and stuff like that. That's actually California code, like 187 and stuff like that. And 40 block was the first one to use Vegas murder code, which was a North Las Vegas murder code, and it's 420. See, 40 block used to hit a 420 on the wall, B420. A lot of people didn't know what that was. They thought 420 was a rap group. 420 was actually the murder code of North Las Vegas. It's 420, but the counties is like 200 something. But 187 is California's. So when we used to put B187, we was actually putting California murder code, not Las Vegas. 40 block was the first one to put 420 on the wall. That's what made them unique. You see? But back to the war. So we sitting in front of the boys club. We drinking, right? We ain't paying attention to nothing. I'm paying attention. I'm on point because I see how the 40 blocks getting down. They be on some sneaky shit, right? So we out there drinking, and I remember pimping Pat Grimble. I remember he was calling some female, and he was calling her name, right? And to the left by the second basketball court, it's kind of dark over there. You can't really see nothing because on that end, they don't have no lighting. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because the substation was across the street, but there was no lighting. But it was lighting in front of the boys club, but not down there on the end. And we wasn't paying attention. And so when he was hollering for that girl, we was all looking in that direction. And all of a sudden, gunfire come from the left. I mean, we had N.J. bottles on the wall and stuff like that, 40-ounce bottles. They bust those. They shot they lit us up. The block. This is how much we was into it. Okay? And it got even worse than that. You know, Bob Green, he's known for his hands. He started knocking out some of the homies, you know, that was oblivious to the war. You know what I mean? And even Slow Joe got in it. And that was, you know, Slow Joe got in the war, and you know, he stayed on the block. But he a G. And I'm gonna tell you something. When we got into it with the block and carry arms, you know, Do Dirty tried to get down with Buzzo, and Buzzo didn't want to see Do Dirty. I was right there, and we ended up getting in a shootout. And Slow Joe, you know, we didn't know where he stood because he, you know, he never would say nothing when we get into it. But when we got in that shootout, Slow Joe came out of nowhere with that gauge, and he, I mean, we was busted, but he laid everything in the vicinity down. And I had to tip my hat to the homie for that one. We was warm. We really was. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if they bust on Lil Gus or if they bust on Puncho, but they bust on one of the big homies, and the homies went over there like real deep, and the block remember that, and basically told them if it don't stop, it's gonna go somewhere and it's gonna be all bad. Now I'm not trying to say a motherfucker went over there just told them, yeah, y'all better chill out, we gonna kill all y'all, right? Cause that they was in fact the homies. Some of them dudes is related to each other, brothers, you know what I mean? So it was like, hey, this got to stop. And they tried to put it all on me, you know? And it wasn't like that. You know, my thing was it was two sides to every story. It is what it is. It happened. But we was able to squash that. You know what I mean? And it became like a personal vendetta between me, Myron, and Bob. And that spilled over. Now the actual going back and forth shooting at each other kind of stopped. But there was more gunplay between me, Bob, and Myron. Like, I caught Myron after all this. I could never really catch up with this cat. But he pulled a pistol on me. But I was with U-Turn. I had a homie named U-Turn that stayed right there on McGuire and Comstock, right? And I was over U-Turn house. And I didn't know that Myron had a girlfriend that stayed right there on the corner in front of U-Turn, right next door to where Jamie stayed. I think her name was Joyce. She stayed right there in the corner. And I didn't know that Myron was messing with that girl. But one night, this cat pulled in the G's, and I'm looking at his car like, nah, either that's Guy Porter or that's that 40 block nigga Myron. And I'm saying to myself, it better not be Myron. After he done drew down on me after I had to fight with Kevin Kev, right? You started all this shit. So, lo and behold, it's Myron. He get out the car. I look, they call him Tiptoes. I say, Tiptoes, what's happening? He look, he say, what up? I start walking over there. I say, check this out, man. What's happening with that shit you know, when you drew down on me, man? He was like, he looked, he realized who I was. He said, what you mean what's happening with you? Now, Myron ain't no punk. He just like Bob. That boy, I think Myron knew martial arts, as a matter of fact. They used to compete. So when he came to fighting, he ain't had no problem doing that. I promise you he didn't. Myron wasn't no joke. You know what I'm saying? So when I walk up on him, I just wasn't finna walk up on him like he was no punk. I walked up on him with my hands like in my waist, like what's happening? And he act like he wasn't scared of none of that. So when I walk up on him like, nigga, you don't remember you pulled that gun on me, nigga? He was like, nigga, what you trying to say, nigga, and? I said, what you think you just, and I just pulled it out, and I just started busting, black. And he knew something, because he knew how to get down fast as a motherfucker and move like a cat, and I was on him. I swear to God, I was busting on him, and Girl Bug came outside. He was running across the street, I was on him. Girl Bug came outside with some chicken or something, like she was finna put some chicken, putting flour on chicken in a bowl, and she was like throwing it up or something. But she came outside, and when she seen me, boom, I was on his helmet, bloom, and I chased his ass all the way up in the block. See, it was a continuation of a war. You know what I mean? And the only thing that really settled it down, you know what I mean, is Bob Green ended up getting into it with Calvin Murray them. And that's a whole nother story. I'm not going there. You know what I mean? But it simmed down. But I got my get back at Myron. You know what I'm saying? May he rest in peace. He was a real soldier. You know what I'm saying? And he was a reputable for the block. You know what I'm saying? My hat's off to him. But I got into it with the block. And, you know, it was ugly. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bunch of people from the G's that got into it with the block. You know what I mean? And even though we homies, sometimes, you know, it's like that. But let me say this here. 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 I'm gonna tell you another thing. I'm gonna tell you another thing. See, y'all think it's all gravy out here in Vegas because of the way it look now. Y'all got the game bent, man. Back in, it was nothing like this, man. Nothing. It was nothing like this. We was warring out here, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. I got a homeboy named Drive-By, right? Now, to all y'all watching this, if I ask you, how did Drive-By get his name? Because see, a lot of people talk, you know, and they say what I'm doing is wrong because I'm telling my life story. But see, one thing they can't say is that somebody got ever got arrested for something I said. See, can't nobody say that. But let me ask you, how many of y'all can say that? Ain't nobody never got arrested for nothing I said. I still got my PSI report. Nobody never got arrested for nothing I said. You see, I can sleep good at night. Ain't no skeletons in my closet. That's why I keep the door open. How many of y'all can say that? But anyway, in Vegas, we wasn't playing. I'm gonna tell you something. Look, back in '89, right? The 50s went through a transformation. They died off. The undercover Crips died off, but the 50s became rolling 50s, and they formed an alliance with the 6-0s. That's why they became rolling 50s. G-Force, Light Pole, Kiki Low, you know, Tanico, Rico, you know, Mark Burrell, Moosey Montana, his brother, Marty, Rock, Steve, Tyrone Givens, D, Mun, Van. It was a lot of them dudes, you know what I'm saying? They had a nice, when they made a comeback, they had a roach clip, they had a nice little squad. But one day they was having a football game with the 60s in Circle Park. And my homie Alex, rest in peace, and Drive-By, you know what I'm saying? They was rolling through there. And the 6-0 females had the pistols while they was playing football. And it's a known 6-0 female from over there named DK. Used to go with Big Kool-Aid. And when she see Drive-By them, she blew on Drive-By. Now she got down on Alwac. You know, everybody knew I used to have that lack. So she blew on Alwac them. And instead of Alwac them driving off, you know what I'm saying, they continue to circle the park. And Drive-By got caught for it. So that's why I could tell my story, see. Drive-By sprayed the park up. You know what I'm saying? He got caught. So when he went, and he was so young, so when he went to juvenile, everybody started calling him Drive-By. That's how he got that name, from shooting up that football game between the 50s and the 60s. But anyway, the 50s became rolling 50s. Now, there was never really no intense aggression with these cats until they became rolling 50s. Because now all of a sudden they come into McNair's Quick Check in packs. Like you see 7, 8 of them when you didn't used to see none of them really. So they started coming up there in packs. G-Force, Tanico, Light Pole. Like I said, they was coming up there, D, all of them, right? These dudes now, you know, and I'm like, my grandma stayed on Blankenship, right? So I grew up with G-Force and Tyrone and his sister Teresa and D and his whole family. I grew up with these cats over here because my grandma moved off Belzar to Blankenship. And plus, we all went to that arcade right there across the street from McNair's Quick Check. We grew up together with the 50s. My OG homeboy, Big Dave Hall, is actually up out of Vegas Heights. Westwood out of Vegas Heights. There's a lot of G's out of Vegas Heights. Poochie out of Vegas Heights. The Trailer Court Gangsters, that what Sonny started, is out of Vegas Heights. So we never looked at them as like really enemies. But when they clicked up with the 6-0s, oh man, check this out. I fall up in there one day in the morning, right? I mean, I ain't tripping. I'm going to get me a pack of Newports, a 40, and some spearmint gum. You feel me? And look, you can get all this back then for $5. You can get a 40. A 40 was $1.75, man. Back then sold 40s for $1.75, and you get them from the back. That's where the cold ones are. You know what I mean? You got you $5. You can get a 40, a pack of Newports, and a thing of Wrigley spearmint gum. You know what I'm saying? And get like 27 cents left over. You know what I'm saying? So that was back in the day. But look, I fall up in there in the morning to get me, my little doo-wop. You know what I'm saying? To get my day on. I go get my 40. I go toward the back. First person I run into is G-Force. Now I grew up with Gary, Boy, Van, all of them. Grew up with them. I say, what's up? He looked at me like I called him the N-word, and I'm white. I look. Like, he looked at me like, yeah, nigga. I'm confused. So I'm like, what the fuck going on? So they walk past me, but when they walk past me aggressive as a motherfucker, bumping me and shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, what these niggas on? You know what I mean? So I'll go get my 40 and I go back. It's like they waiting on me. So I go get my 40. And Tanico, he said, yeah, 50 crib. I look, like I know he ain't talking to me, nigga. I don't even know what the fuck that is. What's a 50 crib? Y'all undercover Crips, Vegas Hike, UCCs. What the fuck what's a 50 crib? So I know he ain't talking to me. So I'm getting my 40 and I'm acting like I'm ignoring him. I'm really ignoring him because there's 7 of them. But I'm acting like I don't hear nothing. So I get my 40 ounce, right? And I'm thinking I'm finna just walk out the door, right? So G-Force was like, herb ass nigga. I'm like, what? I didn't know what to call him because I was brand new to this rolling field. I didn't know what to call him. They eventually became, I get up a disrespectful word, no need to go there, but I didn't know what to call him at that time. So when he said herb ass nigga, which was a new term that they started calling us too. So when he said herb ass nigga, only thing I can think of was to call him the crab word, right? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, crab ass nigga. Man, the boy light pole hit me in my eye hard, and he fired on me. And I threw the 40 and hit him in his face, and they rat packed me, but I got up out of there. I got up out of there. They got my shirt and all that, and I came up out of that I came up out that shirt so cold and got up out of there and ran all the way to Carry Arms. I ran all the way to Carry Arms, homie. And when I come back, you already know, I had to go put in work, and that's going to be on 24. Now, let me address the trolls. See, one thing about me, I can look on a camera and show my face. See, everybody know me. You can't troll me, but you can come see me. You can't troll me. Go find somewhere to play, homie. You messing with somebody that I'm not to be played with. But if you don't believe me, come see me. That's all you got to do. I'm battle tested, and I'm going to pass every test. Now, I understand, your rhetoric. Some people, everybody wasn't born the son of the founder. I happen to be. My daddy a legend. I have front row seats to this. How many people can say they weren't jumped on? They was born in. I was. I'm of nobility. I done put in a lot of work. My name in the Hall of Fame. And when I get through with my story, you'll see why. See, I can tell my story. I could put Vegas on the map. Just like Monster Cody can tell his. Like Stanley Tookie Williams can tell his story. And countless other brothers from California, Chicago, Detroit, and everywhere else get to tell and bring exposure to their city. But when a Las Vegas boy do it, a real one, see, I'm a real Vegas boy, born and bred, Gear Circle age, 89106 with it. See, I'm born and raised out here, and I was really with it. Been banging since 85. My generation is basically wiped out. It's only a few more up around here. And you know what? I asked them, should I, tell our life story, put it out there? Hell yeah. You know why? Because if somebody don't, then everybody that died for nothing. They died for nothing. You use your experience, and if God lets you live after you go through what you go through, and you don't use what you went through to teach, boy, there's a cold special place in hell for you. See, there's two type of knowledges: indirect knowledge and direct knowledge. Indirect knowledge is something you learn from experience, like gangbanging. You learn from gangbanging that 9 times out of 10 you're going to end up dead or in a cage or strung out on a drug sitting up there at the store asking for $2. That's what happens when you gangbang. See, direct knowledge is something you learn from the source, like your mama. She taught you how to walk. Gangbanging and teach you how to walk. Your mama taught you how to walk. She taught you to stay away from light sockets. Don't play with matches. She smacked your little hand every time you did it. That's straight from the source. So I have two type of knowledge. I have direct knowledge and I have indirect knowledge. And God allowed me to be here to share what I have. And it ain't to glorify nothing. It's consequences to this. You end up with post-traumatic stress syndrome, bipolarism. You end up with severe depression, suicidal thoughts, stuff like that. It really messes with your perception of reality when you live this type of life. And all of us are walking around here. The majority of us are walking around here undiagnosed, and we wonder why you can't sleep at night, or why you can't leave a certain drug alone, or why you just can't stay out of prison or away from the homie, because you suffering from a sickness. When you immerse yourself in something for so long, like gangbanging, and that becomes your reality, and you really start believing in that, it warps your perception of reality. It's like being in Vietnam, man, and they hear a car backfire and they dive on the ground. I knew this cat named Chris, and he was in the military. He was so messed up, I don't know what he's seen over there, but his house used to be in perfect condition. Like straight, everything, crisp, clean, bed, everything. So like, this dude weird in the motherfucker. But he had a cell phone. And he used to take his cell phone and he used to set it on the table. And he used to move it in different directions, and he used to lean over into it, and he used to go E53. E50. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm gonna be honest with you, homie. It's the same thing with me. You know why? Because I realized this here. I can't take a shower without wearing shower shoes. I just can't. I can't walk around barefooted or with socks on. I got to keep something on my feet that I feel I can fight in. You see? I always put my back up against the wall when I'm somewhere. When I'm anywhere, I put my back up. It's weird. You know? I always keep people within distance to where I feel I'm safe enough. If they got a knife, it's immersed in me. You see? And This is what I want them youngsters to understand. I don't want them to get infected with that sickness. It's gonna be a lot of people. Listen, homie, it's a lot of people out here that would not be relevant today if certain people died. And to me, if you have to become somebody after somebody died, you would never nobody in the first place. It's a lot of people that's dead and gone, for real, that talk bad about these cats out here that's alive. For real. You looking at a dude that went and did 20 years for gang-related murder, putting in work for the neighborhood. And when I get to that, you see, I'm a trendsetter. I turn allies into enemies. And a chain reaction happened from what I did. Everybody know me. And even in the penitentiary, I was a rider. But I walked away from the game, and I didn't have to ask permission. You don't see me in pictures with dudes I know don't like me. I had the audacity to grow up. And so I'm sharing my story with the masses for whoever can benefit from this. I'm not glorifying this, and you will see I'm just talking about the bad stuff. But when you see what it done to me mentally and physically, you will understand where I'm going with this. And to the people that don't like this, I understand. I get it. Everybody had their opinions. But unfortunately, your opinions can't navigate my boat. I got to stay the navigator of my own ship, even in turbulent waters. I used to think with a crowd mentality. But I realized the most sacred thing God gave me is individuality. And I won't get that up for no one. You understand? I ain't gonna never sacrifice my for shows for someone else's mates. I'ma always stand on my individuality. And if people don't like it, ain't nothing I can do about that. But when I come back, me and the 50 Crips go to war. Until then, stay trolling. Without you, there would be no me. You see? And the funny thing about it is that if I wanted to be dirty, if I wanted to be a slime ball and do what y'all do, I can really expose a lot of people. Oh, yes, indeed. I can expose a lot of people. Because there's a bunch of people, just like in other states, that's busters, that got paperwork on them, that was messing with momos. There's a bunch of y'all had to move out of Vegas if I wasn't just telling my life story. You see? I'm a thoroughbred. Ain't no paperwork on me. Can't nobody never ran. I ain't no hood hopper. None of that. Born and raised where I'm from. My daddy ran it. And people just can't stand it. All I can do is say, God damn it. Until then, from the ground up 23, coming soon. I'm recruiting.